so let's come in with a couple of other crayons and just make sure we can figure out the upsy downsies and all the whole 9 yards. Get the green crayons in there as well. Green crayon here. And of course green crayons up here. And then we'll come in with the cyan. We'll just blast out all the other levels. Let's come in with a couple of other crayons and just make sure we can figure out which is going to be the 69, the upsy downsies and all the whole 9 yards. 69, the green crayons in there as well. Green crayon here. And of course green crayons up here. And then we'll come in with the cyan, and then we got 69, 40 already. A couple of other crayons. We know the low. Just make sure we can 70. We talked about that on the 4-hour. If 68.70 fails, what's the next level below? 68.50, I do believe. Yeah, 68.50, bear and golfer high. We'll put that over here. 68.50 / 47. All right, perfect. That's kind of the simplified game plan for today. If I had to prescribe odds to this market, I would say that we're probably dealing with something along these lines. 60% odds for a green path, and then, of course, 40% odds for a red path. Something along those lines. I didn't like that. Oh, too much overshoot. Trying to draw a straight line. There we go. 60-40 odds. Something along those lines. Once again, it's just a small edge. It's a smidge, if you will. Just a smidge of edge to the bulls there. It doesn't mean that the downside can't come in. It just means that, you know, my base case, considering the data points we have in hand, simply aligns more so with the long thesis on a pullback hold of 69.13, 69.15, 69.07, value area high zone. Very easy to see. Trading is not easy, but that level is easy to see. Right? Just a smidge. Just a smedgety smedge more bullish than bearish. All right. Okay. That is what we've got on the ES futures as we come barreling into this market open. What feels like the first trading day of 26, but it is technically the second. So basically, what's actually kind of interesting is if you just didn't trade on Friday and you just open up a long on the S&P 500 right now, you might outperform by a little bit. Probably not so much, just because you're opening right near, just a hair under the open of the. Yeah, I guess you do technically outperform by just a smidge, if you if you could just buy this slightly below the first day's open. So, any portfolio managers out there who want to tell their clients that they outperformed the S&P, all they have to do on a down day to start the year is just not buy. Now you can buy today. So that is what we've got here on the ES pathing. I'm going to go in for another sip of this coffee. It's a pretty delicious one this morning. We got some honey in there. Honey as a replacement. Well, not really a replacement, but it's just, get some natural honey floating around post-Christmas, and it tastes great. It tastes great in the Joe. All right. I've taken my sip. Maybe you've taken yours as well. Ooh, that's a good idea, MacD. That's something that I could maybe look into the new year. All right. ES. Done. Let's jump into the Spider's Cash, shall we? 8:41 on the clock. I've taken my sip. You should have taken yours as well. Take a screenshot if you'd like it, but it's going to disappear in a 3 count. 3, 2, 1, poof. Let's take a move over to the Spider's Cash and see what we've got over here in terms of levels, analysis, the whole 9 yards. So I don't want to get too level happy, and I'm just going to use the daily 20 SMA, which is right around in here, 680, 375, 684. I'm going to use that daily 20 SMA as my arbiter of price. It's the same level that we were just talking about over on the ES futures. I just don't want to put another line across my screen here. If I really needed to, I could just boom, something like that. I don't want to. What I do want to do is just pay attention to what happens on either a pullback that supports the daily 20. Can we get into this level? And if so, can we get through the level, accepting back over and into the 2-day balance range from Monday, Tuesday of last week? Or does this pullback come in, reject, and come back in like this, breaking the level? That would be a problem, right? That would be a problem. What else could take place here? Well, just consolidation like this, which is maybe balanced today, maybe leads to a break to the upside tomorrow. That's a possible idea. Or let's think about catalysts, maybe Wednesday, right? Or maybe it's 10 o'clock intraday today. Let's not forget, now that we have, 38 million people jammed up here into the office. We've got 38 million people. All 38 million of you should not forget that at the 10 o'clock time frame, what do we get? It's the ISMs, right? ISM, and then today is manufacturing. M for manufacturing, right? So just be aware of that at the 10 o'clock time frame. So perhaps a little bit of morning sideways action. 10 o'clock comes around. If the data is good, or at least the market perceives it to be good, could be bad, but the market perceives it as good, great, no problem. Over 686, reclaiming the lows of this multi-day balance range here. Let's rock and roll towards 689. Fairly straightforward, right? If the data is bad, maybe it looks like this, and now all of a sudden we're building out what? Bear flag consolidation? Absolutely, and as we know, dropping underneath this level would be a problem. That would be a problem over here, right? We really don't want to see lows underneath that because it would be confluence with a break of the daily 50 SMA. We really don't want to see a market that's dropping below the daily 50 SMA. Weak. Markets are weak when they're underneath the 50 SMA, right? Let's think about character traits here. Let's go to a daily chart. So after the April tariff lows were resolved, right, this really right in here, this higher low sequence, big gap up, deal to make a deal, right, with China. As soon as that took place, you really didn't kiss the daily 50 SMA at all through this entire rally, through the entire summer, right, until you got into here, that first bear engulfer in October, right? Market was fairly straightforward, up and away, and bullish. Well, now we've got multiple interactions off the daily 20, daily 50, daily 20, daily 50, daily 20, daily 50, daily 50, daily 20, right? And you look back here, daily 20, daily 50. You're interacting with these moving averages way more than a strong trend typically would. In a strong trend, you've got some decent distance between price and the 50, right? That's strength. So the fact that we're just continuing to noodle around the 50, again, if we break Friday's low and we're starting to interface with it again, it's just another sign that the trend is weakening. Trend strength is weakening, right? If that's the case. Not flipping to down, but definitely weakening. All right. As we said once, you can overshoot once. You can't overshoot twice. Got to be clean here. Got to hold that 50. If you don't, then all of a sudden I start drifting into a very neutral stance on the market. I probably take my bullish tone and say, all right, 50-50. Right? No longer 60-40, but 50-50 if we drop Friday's low. Why not 60-40 bear? Because this really isn't a bearish trend. It's just neutral. It's sideways, right? But right now, at least, you still have these opportunities for a higher low. So that's really the navigation point for today's session. That's the crux of the objectives for today, Monday, January 5th. What happens today with the daily 20 SMA, and we hold above, and if we drop below, you better darn hold that daily 50. Otherwise, we're going back to neutral. Going back to a trendless market. It could be up, it could be down, hold your breath. And that's fine. Like, this is also something we could just talk about real quick. The market doesn't always have to be in a trending move, right? The market will not always be in a trending move. This is a weekly equilibrium, and we've been talking about that for quite a bit in the weekend videos the last couple of weeks, right? It's really much more of an equilibrium where, your trend strength has slowed down, which is fine, right? And again, if you haven't watched these Saturday update videos, I don't know what you're waiting for. A lot of just little nuggets or understanding of context as to how the market's developing is put forth in those episodes. Anyways, point being, the trend is cooling off after a 40+% rally off the April lows. It's reasonable that the market could say, hey guys, give me a bit of a break here. Let me take a breath, and then maybe we'll figure it out in the first quarter of 26, right? It's fine. That's that. All right. A1's exclusive arts, I like the username, says, it's so hard for me to go bearish, ? Even a 30 lost is still neutral, but a 7 up is bullish. Even a 30 lost. I don't know what you mean by a 30 lost. Like $30 down? Is that what you mean? 30 bucks off the high from here to here? I mean, intraday, sure, it's bearish. I'm not going to argue with you there, but the general trend context? No way. No way, Jose. Although it would have been much cooler if your username was Jose. Anyways, Spider's Cash, we know the name of the game today. It's the daily 20 SMA. It's 684. It's this previous low from here. It is the intraday highs and inflection point from Friday. If you look left, it's these lows, right? Opening print, low of day from here, kicking off the rally. And the other thing to point out too is like, let's just like pause for just a second. Is anybody shocked that the thin structure move in the upward direction was retraced? Is anybody sitting here like, oh my God, I can't believe the market pulled back through this thin structure rally that happened over the Christmas holiday, session? Is anybody really that surprised? I don't think so. Right? It would be a totally different story if the market on Monday, instead of gapping up, thin structure move in the upward direction was retraced. Tuesday we pulled back. And is anybody sitting here like, oh my God, I can't believe the market pulled back through this Friday maybe was higher? That happened over the Christmas holiday. If we had this really strong built-out structure in here, is anybody really that surprised? Then I might say like, that's a little odd. I don't think so. A little bit odd. Right? It would be a totally different story if the market on Monday, instead of gapping up well with the structure move in the upward direction was Tuesday we pulled back. Is anybody sitting here like, oh my God, I can't believe the market pulled back through this Friday maybe was higher? 610 happened over the Christmas holiday, strong built-out structure. I mean, I don't know what browser you're using, but I'm looking right now. We've got 39.24 million viewers in the chat here. 610K Calf. I don't know. Again, I don't know what browser you're using. Maybe you need to upgrade to Google Chrome. Maybe it's higher. 610 nowhere near strong built-out structure. I mean, I don't know what. We've got 39.24 million looking right now. We've got 39.24 million viewers. In the chat here. I don't know what 610K Calf. I'm just reading the numbers. I don't know. All I do is read the numbers. What browser you're using. Maybe you need to upgrade. I don't cook the book. Chrome. Here in the penthouse, we've got 39.24 million people. Right now, we've got 39.24 million viewers. All right, 8:49. Let's get the job done. Let's move on over to the nasty Nasdaq. Why not? Let's take a peek at the 4-hour time scale and see what's going on with this. We know that the trend compression over here is real, and it's pretty brutal. We know that this is really preventing a cleaner move in the broader marketplace overall. It's just a metric system. Jarrett. Now we're talking. Yeah, don't forget to carry the 4. We can clearly see the range compression out of the NQ. There's no problem, right? No problem with that. Not a problem at all. This is going to prevent a easier condition or an easier move to develop in the S&P 500. And lo and behold, where are you opening this morning? Literally in the center apex of the triangle, right? NQ futures slated to open smack in the middle. So are we really thinking and headed into today's session with big grand ambitions of like, oh my God, brand new all-time highs NQ? Or, oh my God, massive new lower low, market's going to crash on the NQ? Probably not. It's not really prime for it. It's like, hey, you might get a little up, you might get a little down, but it's you're in the midpoint. You're literally at the equilibrium point of the consolidation wedge, right? Moving average stack just above you, neckline of a head and shoulders just above you. To the downside, stuck between a rock and a hard place, double bottom neckline from over here after the nasty overshoot. Is that going to hold? We overshot it once, can't afford to do it again, right? Bottom line on the NQ, we are trendless. We are trendless, and we are at the equilibrium of the triangle. So keep your expectations in check. If you go out there swinging for the fences on the NQ and you're disappointed today, I just don't think you're paying attention close enough to the charts, right? So on the NQ futures hourly, we know that this is also a downtrend. There's really not much of a shock there. What was somewhat maybe, I don't want to say shocking, but a little surprising, was the lack of any attempted strength on Friday over this neckline, right after the gap up open. You had a gap up open, technically above the level, after a pretty weak close on the Wednesday. Thursday was closed on the Wednesday session, and just completely shattered it. Absolutely shattered the level there. So a little bit interesting, not shocking, maybe a little just interesting that the buyers couldn't put up any fight at the moving average stack after a recapture for the open. So with that, we are opening underneath that neckline, right? The hourly chart where we still are is offering this as a head and shoulders. Failed the neckline. Technically speaking, this could offer a lower high. So on the NASDAQ, and hopefully this is very clear, I will change my tone when the chart tells me to change my tone. I am not nearly as bullish on the NASDAQ as I am the S&P 500. I mean, on the NASDAQ, you're underneath the moving average stack. You're underneath the neckline. You're at the midpoint of the equilibrium wedge of the range, right? So My thoughts are that the NQ can kind of do, the NQ can do, yeah, the NQ can do whatever it wants to do on today's session, and I'm not going to think twice about it. We could rally into this and reject and pull back, and that would be fine. We could rally into it, through it, accept above, and try to battle back through the neckline. If the Mag 7 complex catches a bit of a bid today, it's possible to unwind the move from Friday. It's also possible that if we pull back here into the Wednesday low and over the top end of the consolidation from Friday afternoon and support, if the market catches a bid there, not the end of the world. That's about 420. If the market drops underneath and does something that looks like this, well, bear flag that takes out the Friday low. Now all of a sudden we're breaking the trend line from the higher time frame perspective. Like anything goes today in the NQ. All right. And you might think to yourself, well, that's pretty useless. Well, it's not, right? It just means don't get attached to any particular outcome. I could be a little bit more attached to the bull side on the S&P 500, but I'm not going to be attached to the bull side on the NASDAQ. So if I'm looking for longs, where do I want to look? S&P. If I'm looking for shorts, I probably want to be more open-minded to the NASDAQ rejecting here or just building out this bear flag and doing this in the future. I probably don't want to force the issue over on the S&P 500. So when you open the aperture a little bit and just say like, okay, whatever happens on the NQ, it kind of allows you a bit of, maybe not an edge, but it prevents you from, like, what would you say? What would you say? If instead of being a victim of the bull trap or the bear trap or whatever trap you want to say, you're just acknowledging that the trap exists. You're saying, okay, there's potentially a trap today, and I'm just going to step around it. Right? That's it. That's all we're saying. By acknowledging that the NQ can do whatever it wants to do, you're basically saying, yeah, I get it. There's a trap out there, and I'm just not going to step in it. That's all. Right? And that in and of itself is a little bit of an edge. Being open, being fluid, being willing to change your bias at the drop of a level. I was going to say hat, but at the drop of a level, you change your bias and you're on to the next one. Right? All right. So with that NQ, let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. Let's see what's going on from this perspective. Yeah, that Foxconn news is really offering quite a bid for NVIDIA. You know, I'm seeing that on the Market Minder window still staying up towards that 191s. I'm keeping track of 192 as the breakout point, but I see it. You know, NVIDIA definitely higher in here for sure. Again, semiconductors on a tear this morning. Hence the title of today's episode. All right, I need to wet the whistle here with a sip of coffee, and then we'll keep going. NQ, pathing ideas, and 3 questions. All right. So, 3 questions, basically identical to that of the S&P 500. One thing I will say here is that the value area is just kind of all weird. I would not look at this value area as being aligned with the two-sided trade or market acceptance. It's just mathematical at that point, 70%. You know, you got to spit something out, 70%. But the more reasonable place is definitely here at the 420, as well as up here at the 645, 650. All right, moving average stack. So I'm a little less inclined to think through, you know, where are we opening relative to value, and just more like where are we opening relative to this consolidation as well as this inflection point. Previous support acted as resistance here intraday, right? And also, right, the neckline of the hourly head and shoulders. So with that sort of out of the way, and by the way, whoever was keeping track, I already forgot the username. That's what happens when you question, you know, the mathematics of the penthouse. But we're at 40 million viewers now instead of 38 million. So it's crazy how many, you know, an additional 2 million people in the span of 5 minutes. Pretty cool. Anyways, NQ futures now on the 3.5 questions are mostly similar to the ES. You're opening in range. You're opening slightly above the value area, but once again, think through it from the lens of this balance down here. You're opening above that, which gives plenty of leeway for a possible pullback to long off of that. We'll get into the pathing, don't worry. So in range, over value, towards the overnight high, clearly, right? Much better strength there headed into the bell. And what else would we say? Well, question number 3, overnight inventory, much more net long. I mean, instead of 95% net long, I'd go out on a limb and say 100%. Why not? 100%. Now, it's not like we have shock and awe. Once again, question number 1 and 1.5 really tell us about shock and awe and whether or not people are going to be like, oh my God, we're so disjointed from, you know, XYZ, you know, over here, or over there, whatever. Oh, geez, sorry. The FU Money Fund said, sorry, we've got 4.065 viewers, not million. I forgot to move the decimal. That's right. There's 4.065 viewers in the office here this morning. The fraction of a person is what? I don't know. Do we have a toddler up here in the office trading this morning? Who gave the toddler keys to the penthouse? Get him out. Get him out. This is a family-friendly affair, but I don't know about toddlers having access to my terminal. All right. NQ, we know that there's no shock and awe. There's 100% net long inventory. If there is going to be inventory correction, I would be open-minded to this. Like, it's not unreasonable that if the market comes in here and pulls back into this level once again, it's fine. Like, any consolidation hold over the top end of this range, I would look at through the lens of a higher low attempt, right, from here to here. The next big step would ultimately be, can we get up and through the moving average stack? This is what buyers want to see. Right, that's, so we'll say BU for bulls, of course. Now, on the flip side, if the market just rallies and rejects this, once again, as we said on the hourly chart, we had this conversation already, you got to keep an open mind here. If we just reject this 645 zone, 650, that's like A-okay. Nothing wrong with a rejection here, where once again, I would be more open-minded to being a bear on the NQ. Where am I going with this path? This is horrendous. Try that again. Let's make this a little cleaner there. Yeah, there it is, classic. You know, something like this. You know, that could be the pullback. Opening drive that stuffs at the moving average stack, comes down underneath this pivot and this pivot. I do like that the value area high is at least something in the overnight session. There's a little bit of an inflection point there, so I'll leave it. You know, something that looks like this to get short on this dot into the pullback to here and then reevaluate for this. It's kind of like, once again, anything goes on the NQ this morning, and we just have to sort of assess for whether or not, okay, and, you know, it's not like, how do I want to say this? We don't just throw our hands up in the air and say like, oh, you know, whatever, just NQ, whatever. No, I'll be like actively assessing, okay, what's the ES doing? What do the market internals look like? Are the semiconductors still strong? Did they fade off the open? Are financials performing well? Is that what's driving the S&P higher? Is the tech sector, you know, playing well? Does software stocks come back into play? I mean, enterprise software got smashed on Friday. Look at something like a CRM. Look at something like an Adobe. You know, look no further than Microsoft, right? Software got destroyed, absolutely destroyed. Snowflake destroyed, right? So if those names get a bounce back, then fine. Maybe tech has a little bit stronger of a move. So, you know, all that stuff is going to be influential as to whether or not, you know, the NQ ends up being a long today, or if it's just like, let's avoid this thing like the plague. Software continues to get smashed. Mag 7 looks ugly. And if you lose semiconductors, so we gap up on semis, SMH is gapping up, right? If TSM MU come back down to earth, and there's no rotation in the semiconductor cohort itself, you know, you're probably not looking at a positive picture for the NQ. So don't treat this thing like it's happening in a vacuum. You know, look at your components. Look at what's happening. What is getting a bid? Where's money flowing to? Where's money flowing out of? Right? That's the most, one of the, what would you say, the easiest ways to think about the market and whether or not it's bullish or bearish. If money's leaving every single sector, it's bearish. No doubt about it. Nobody wants to go hide out in anything. If money's just moving from, you know, overcooked tech into new themes, then there's really nothing, like, money still needs a place to go, right? Anyways, rant over this morning. NQ pathing is a little bit more sloppy. Once again, please be respectful of this level and please be respectful of this level. That's it. The two big levels are at 640. Right in here. We could call it 650 if you like nice round numbers, and down below is 420. 420 right there. Okay, anything goes in between. I would tend to think through the lens of if tech is weak, right? Something like this, a short. If tech is strong and you pull back, this is a long to get back up to that level. If we go through that level, bullish hold above, should rotate to prior day's high. That's 790s, 800, right? 25.8. Excuse me. My apologies. That's that. If this just gets bear flag consolidation down here, we just talked about it on the 4-hour chart, right? You drop this, and suddenly you lose the bottom end of the wedge, at the 4-hour wedge. Okay, that's that. That is the NQ. Chris K, you're reading my mind. Yeah, I mean, what else had some relative strength on Friday? This is going to be something that we continue to talk more about on the channel here. You'll probably hear it in the weekend analysis, the pre-market preps. I mean, this is, as markets go sideways, right? And I think the easiest illustration is to just clear this up. I'm going to go sip and poof, but I'm just going to poof before I sip. And then we'll jump over to the Qs. I just want to point out the Yeah, this segment of price action right here, and then I'll take a sip. Pretty good. As the market goes sideways like this, right? What kind of market is this? This is not a passive market. This is not a market to be passive in and just say, oh, you know, buy and hold and it'll go to the moon. No, I mean, there's no real trend anymore, right? There's no more trend. And therefore, I said it in the intro of the Saturday update video. Again, if you're not watching the Saturday videos, I'd encourage you to. I don't know why you wouldn't. It's pretty, I would think, you know, if you want to shortcut your own analysis or complement your own analysis, you just throw the video on and start going through your charts one by one. But it's a thematic pickers market. TH for Thursday? No, let's just say T for theme. You got to go look at your themes. What had relative strength on Friday? Core weaves of the world. I mean, this thing was straight up when the market was straight down. And so data centers catching a little bit of a bid, and Chris K already took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, if this can recapture the daily 20 SMA, there's nothing but a gap overhead on Oracle. That'll be like an interesting watch today. Look no further than something like your IREN, right? Your IREN data center, higher. Your NBIS, higher, right? What else? Hut 8 just got a contract for, you know, converting towards data center as well. They're not quite on par, but this has much more of a consolidation base that could break, right? So these things start to become much more interesting as the market goes sideways here. Instead of just saying, oh, the Mag 7 will do all the heavy lifting and that's where we should look for trade ideas, you're going to have to do a little bit more work than that. In a sideways market like this, right? Some thematic understanding of what's hot and what's not. I mean, Rocket Lab, of course, is the talk of the town. Everybody and their sister is on Rocket Lab. I think there's some other ones. You know, we don't have to get into every single one, but ASTS, of course, straight up in that theme. Planet Labs, decent. Lunar, right? Not bad. Breaking out of this flag here over 17. All these things should be in your wheelhouse as the market. And again, if you're an active trader or at least looking for the next swing or something like that, if you just show up to the stream and you're like, I just kind of want to know what's going on with the broad market today, then, you know, I've probably just been more of a, what would I say? I don't want to say headache. I don't want to say headache because at some point there will be a break and you got to be prepared for the break. But it's like, oh, we're a little bit higher and then it fails. And maybe it's lower. And no, we're a little bit higher and then it's starting to fail a little bit, right? That's just compression in the broad market. So, all right. That is rant over on the NASDAQ side, pickers side versus passive side. If we take a look at the QQQ cash ETF, levels seemingly fairly straightforward. Once again, if I wanted to get level happy, I could, and I could throw a level right here at the daily 50 SMA around 616.50. I'm not going to do that, but you could have one. Ultimately, if you get consolidation above the level, great. Your brigade bolt here is what you're looking for on the upside. Remember, anything goes. So if you fail at 618.50, right here where the market's slated to open, you fail that, right, and you're lower, drop the 50. Now all of a sudden, what? You're threatening this breakdown here, right, which is the trend line break from the higher time frame daily. Okay, so anything goes. Anything goes. And your three levels to pay attention to today are 618.50, 616.50 daily 50 SMA, and then this line in the sand right here at 613. You really don't want to go below 613. If you fail 613, that's where you're breaking the trend line, and I think that the higher time frame trend starts to break to the downside, and it just turns into a slightly more bearish market. Noting that you have lower highs and officially some kind of equal low if you do end up making the move all the way to the weekly expected move low, which is closer to about 602, right? So that is that. What did we miss in the chat? What's this crazy red thing in here? Ramar with the 50 in the chat to kick off the first full trading week of the new year. Good morning. Could you take a look at these to confirm if they're in an uptrend still or downtrend, resistance and support for long-term holds? BCC, CMG, AI, BBWI, TTD. My volume is also low this morning. Thanks for the heads up on that. I mean, I could crank it a little bit more and do something like that. I just moved the little thing without dialing up the hardware. Maybe that's a little bit better, but probably not by much. Anyone else low sound this morning? I'll have to revisit that sticker as we finish up the analysis and take a look at what we've got on those names. A little bit better? A little bit better. Okay, let's move into our small caps because it's 9:07. We got to get the job done here. Let's take a peek. Small caps starting to break out. Ooh, look at that. New overnight high coming in here. Overnight low. Didn't do my homework. I can't remember on smalls what we've got.
But
anyways, small caps starting to break up and over previous day high. I like that. Okay, let's move into the 4-hour chart. Sit in your seats. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a look at the core list of companies in just a moment. A little bit of a break to the upside, but still stuck between a rock and a hard place. This is really the range on smalls that we've been trying to navigate the last little bit. It would have been better if we set some kind of higher low in here. We know that didn't happen early on in the week last week, but we are starting to retrace some of the move and at least go sideways. So I'd say compression more than anything on small caps. Really tough to parse out a trend out of this one in here. So I would just kind of let small caps be for now and say for the most part, if we can get some kind of stable hold over about 25.39, 25.40s, that would be a little bit more compelling for neutrality, and I'd be open-minded to the breakout. If we just reject that, just sideways. So this level right here, and you can primarily see where that's coming from, right? All these prior lows and the origin of the breakdown from last week. If we can recapture that, once again, 30, let's call it 37 to 40. 25.37 to 25.40. If we could break and brigade bolt over that, that's where I'm a little bit more inclined to be a bull. If we stay below and reject, I'm not outright bearish. I'm just pretty neutral on small caps. Let's go on into, we just looked at the 15-minute chart, but we'll do one more time. If we could just stay over this prior high, not bad. Right, not bad. Something that looks like this. And then, of course, consolidation over the overnight high, and that would be the bull thesis. If you reject it, come in, you just start doing this. Nothing to really say in this area here. And, like, why is that reasonable on today's session? We know that the labor reports will start coming out on Wednesday, and then, of course, the full Monty on Friday. Right, so if we're trying to get aggressive ahead of those things without a proper break up and over 25.37 to 40, I just think it's a recipe for disaster when the numbers do come out on Wednesday and perhaps they're not what the market expects, and then all of a sudden you're lower again on smalls. Right? All right, let's take a peek quickly over at the IWM. See what's going on over here. It's the same concept, just slightly different numbers, right? The ideal level to recapture would be this in here, and if you were to really extend this off to the left, you can see it's the same level. Right? Previous lows, this, origin of the breakdown, the whole 9 yards. So 250.25. 250.25 is the number to beat. If you can get up and over it, more bullish, great, awesome, not bad. If you just reject and stay below, I would be a little bit more neutral once again until we get our labor reports on Wednesday and then Friday. Okay, remember JOLTS, 10 o'clock time frame, ISM Services PMI, 10 o'clock time frame on Wednesday. Jobless claims, the usual stuff on Thursday morning, 8:30. And then on Friday, 8:30, full Monty labor report, non-farm payroll, as well as, of course, the unemployment rate and average hourly earnings and all the ratios that come along with that BLS report. So with that, let's jump into NVIDIA, 9:10 on the clock. Let's get the job done here. NVIDIA looks decent. I think it looks decent. I am almost more inclined to focus on NVIDIA this morning rather than a TSM or an MU. I really don't know if I can get behind buying a gap up on TSM and MU into blue sky territories in a market that's clearly displayed and suggested that breakout longs are not really the name of the game. So because this is maybe starting to breach a multi-day balance range, if we can break up and over the 192.25, a brigade bolt here rather than buying a gap up equivalent on MU or TSM maybe is playable. So really just watching 192.25 on NVIDIA, fairly straightforward. If it just rejects that level, pulls in this morning and goes sideways, nothing to do. Let's take a look at Apple. That's right, there's nothing to do. Apple is just out of play at this point. You could maybe say bear flag down here on the lows. Do I really want to be shorting Apple? Not really. I'm just going to let this be. It'll drift off. Microsoft, a little bit cleaner of an opportunity for a shortable move. If this rallies and can reject this 476.60 spot, that's your range low from back over here, retesting the daily 200 SMA. Rally rejections of that area keep the bearish pressure on, and I would be pretty bummed if this starts to take this low out, but it just is what it is. The chart is clearly not rotating towards the top end of the range.
Did you see my dogs?
Failing to break down the 200 here, and then failing the breakout here into the end of last week, just brutalized. So not thrilled about the way that this position's been acting, and might have to just let it go, but for now,
how's your year been?
Right, hard stop in the market under those prior lows, and we'll just let it be. That's the nature of the beast. All right, what else is possibly going on here on Microsoft? It's really just that, the lower high for a possible short. If you can recapture that, then maybe it still stays in play. Miraculous. We'll see one step at a time. Amazon, another one that's just brutalized on that Friday session. There's not a lot to say about these names. Other
I
than
have an
big
Instagram,
failures.
but I
I don't know
haven't
about
used it in
longs into
forever.
this stuff. I still think that the ideal place to get long would be over 233 on an acceptance hold. You're just not even close to having that in play right now. You are
Right
opening
on.
over 227, so if that needs to sort of reset for a lower high in here, that is possible. I just don't want to get involved inside this box really because the
Pretty
moving average
good.
stack is not really
I
oriented properly.
upgraded my
Let's
computer.
keep
I'm a
moving
gamer,
with
so
Google. Google's still somewhat in play. The reason I say that is because you didn't technically close the bar and you actually
I
saw a decent
just
intraday
bought
bounce off of
like a few
310.50.
days ago
It is still technically either
a
red doji if you do something that looks like this, something that looks like this, right?
7900
You got yourself a
XT
red
20
doji
gigabyte.
here. If you can get Brigade Bolt up and over 317, maybe you revisit the high of Friday, 322.
Like
Probably not the top focus, just noting that this is not
$690.
thematically, maybe new leader for
Yeah.
AI and such. But in terms of what's hot
No,
this
I got it
morning,
brand new.
Google does not seem to be it.
That's how
Going
much.
over to Broadcom, semiconductors are all moving higher. Broadcom is not one that I would focus on because of its relative weakness recently.
Idaho.
Rejecting the daily 50 and 20. I would just think that even NVIDIA looks better than this, right? NVIDIA looks better than this because it's over its daily 20, over its daily 50, possibly breaking out of a multi-day range. I don't really think that
I
ABG
got
or
it
Broadcom
stopped.
here is all that compelling. So, could it move higher? Yeah, of course. Anything can always happen in the market, but in terms of setup quality,
No,
it's not
I
really there. So let's
just
move
kind of
along to Meta.
stopped.
Meta's just totally been in the middle of nowhere. I've honestly reduced some of the levels on this screen, on this chart, just to remind myself that I really only want to do something here, and I only want to do something here. Anything in between is just noise. Noise, 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 noise,
Don't
noise.
really
Not
got
interested in
the
trading this choppy
revenue
slop
for
on
it.
Meta, so nothing for me to do there this morning. We look at Tesla. Interesting recapture of the 50, possibly on the open here. I'm curious to see whether or not this can maybe hold up and do that.
Yeah,
It's still not the best long buying that, I don't
I
think.
could,
Remembering that we do have
but
this big level off to our left. Tesla ideally would have either held the daily 20 or held this 456 spot. Just not getting
yeah,
anything done. Oh, did we freeze?
that's like a hustle almost.
Freeze. Geez, how much did we miss? Not too much.
Yeah, that's
Meta, I
what I
was just
mean.
talking
It's
about those
like it's
ranges.
very
Sorry about
demanding.
that. Again, it's like 9:15 every day. I don't know what it is. I got to maybe put that on my to-do list
And you have to
try to figure out what
be
the
in the
issue is.
for
Didn't
that.
miss much. I was just saying on Meta, there's nothing to do. Nothing to do here.
Say what?
Right. Tesla.
Well, I'm
What was I
disabled,
on Tesla?
so
Sorry, I gotta do this. Oh man. And then over here
yeah.
on Tesla, it was 456. Right. Really tough to say anything great about it. I would prefer that this was the idea.
Seems
And therefore, like lower highs become a threat.
like Tarkov.
Take a sip of this coffee.
First person
Start to the new
shooters.
year, huh? All right. Tesla. There it is. For the most part, just kind of letting Tesla be. It does.
I
It's
also
still
played Black
really
Ops
strong
last
setup.
night.
All right, JP Morgan looks great. Some of its financial
Yeah.
counterparts do as well. This kind of Brigade Bolt over previous day high would look awesome, and this sort of shelf in there. So what's the level? Let's see where I should actually have that.
Yeah, I played Counter
It's gonna be
Strike
at
before.
324. Let's call it 325. Round number sake. Why not? Why not? 325. If we can hold up over 325s on higher lows, great. Some sort of move that looks like this. This is a daily high.
Yeah.
Apologies, a little bit of a nasal this morning. Palantir.
I got a beefy
PLTR.
ass
A
motherfucking
little bit of an open
computer,
higher. It's
so
not a big gap up. We're still inside the range from Friday. Brutal day on Friday, down 7.41%.
it's like
Pullback to
a
hold 170, 125 and not
trying to
go higher,
remember
right? That would just say, okay, if you're
180
selling everything out of
hertz
bullets here, that's your capitulation low,
where
maybe we're higher. So Palantir could
32.
be interesting for a possible long, as long as we can hold up over 170, 125.
Yeah.
If we fail 170, 125 and just bear flag consolidate down here, then we'll just call it for what it is. That's Palantir. AMD I like on the gap up this morning. Over the
Oh yeah, I've
265
seen the
looks
Odyssey
pretty solid.
monitor.
If we could just
Those are
stay and do something that looks like that, not bad. AMD is a decent watch. Go Robinhood. Robinhood's probably less interesting to me this morning. It is technically
yeah, I
below a
could.
fail, undercut and rally perhaps underneath that 114. But what's the issue? Under the 50, under the
Oh, right
20,
on.
really tough for me to
Yeah,
want to
those
take a
things
bullish
are
stance here.
huge.
An overly bullish stance. You might go counter trend. That's fine, but I think the idea would be set a lower high and then do this, right, on Robinhood. All right. that is what we've got on.
Yeah, monitors you gotta
a
be
couple of
careful
other
with.
ideas. We already talked about a few of them, but I do just want to look at GS, Goldman Sachs, as well as Morgan Stanley. Like this is pretty straightforward for the financial
Yeah.
sector, as well as
But
MS.
now they're
Morgan
like
Stanley,
OLED and
same
stuff.
concept, much cheaper price point, 182.15. Right,
Way more
0
expensive.
bullish trades out of those. And then let's go back to this sticker note,
Yeah,
sticky note over here.
the
Look at
OLED
these
ones
names.
are like
BCC.
they can go
BCC is
from pitch
absolutely
black
not
to
in a long-term
I
uptrend.
think
That is in a
500-600
that
nits,
looks
which is
horrendous to
super
me,
bright.
unfortunately, Ramar. I would need to see price at
Or
least
maybe
start breaking
even more
above
than
this, and then you would
500
see
or
lows, higher
600.
lows, and then some sort of like
Maybe
uptrend
even up
starts
to
to form.
1,000. I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, this is a brutal chart.
They
I
get
would stay
bright,
far
but
away
yeah.
from this thing. There's no real reason, in my view, to get involved so severely.
My
on
monitor
the
gets
daily
pretty
200.
bright
The
too.
50 is spread properly. The 20 is down there.
Yeah.
It's just this is not a good name to be involved in. The price action in here does not look all that compelling either. So
No,
different if you had this big
it's more about
thematic
like
pivot higher, something like this,
the
high tight
resolution
flag, and then a break of the
that
200. You just don't have that. So not interested in the BCC.
and the frame rate, the
What else did we
resolution
have
and the
here? We had
frame rate.
CMG. Chipotle is another one where I don't love
Like
this at all.
I think
Yes, you have
OLED
some
is
flagging
just
action going on here, but
fancy.
the long-term trend on this
It's
thing is
more for
clearly
like the
downward and 200
color
sloping down.
people that
I would
like
stay away
really
from it
nice
personally.
color looking.
Could you break out of the bull flag? Sure. I just think there are way better opportunities that will give you less headache. Right? You're talking about a breakout over 38s, maybe to get up into this 40.
Like I think I paid
Something like
maybe
that.
130 or
Eventually gets you
230
there, but do I
for
even think
mine.
that that's a high probability outcome? Not
Yeah,
necessarily. I mean, you tried to build a move
and
higher here, and then what happened on earnings?
it's snap fast,
You could try to build a move
and
higher here, and what could happen next earnings cycle? You could get smoked again to the downside. So I really don't
it's
like
got a good
CMG.
frame rate. Yeah, it's
I'd
got
stay
really
away
good
from that.
frame rate. Like
AI,
hertz
C3 AI. This
is
thing
what they
sucks.
call it.
Clearly in a downtrend.
Refresh
I'm
rate.
not saying this to like poo-poo on any of your ideas or whatnot, but these are just not
Yeah.
names that I would even have in my repertoire. This chart is horrible.
I also have
Chart
some
under the
old
200, under the
PS3s
50,
that I
trend is
sometimes
down.
play on,
Maybe it's
but
trying to stage a higher low, but why bother? Something that's going to give you a headache.
22.
Too much of a headache there. What else was on the list? BBWI. What was this thing? Bed Bath and Body. Like, why are we trading Bed Bath and Body Works? This is so horrible.
Sorry, man.
I'm trying to
Oh
just
shit.
be real with you about the charts that you suggested. Again, these are just not charts that I'm interested in at all. It's a
Yeah.
long-term downtrend. You're getting a little bit of a counter-trend move here, but why are we going to bother with BBWI, Bed Bath and Body Works, possibly moving into
Right on,
20 to
dude. Right on.
25, give or take, maybe with the trend and all the headwinds in the world
Awesome.
against you? Just focus on the thematically relevant stuff. What's been moving in the upward direction? So BBWI
I
is
don't
not
have a
flagged either.
driver's
920 on the
license
spot. Let's
yet,
get through
so
them. TTD is another one that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. It just got smoked ever since the S&P inclusion, uninclusion. It's just not like look at the weekly chart of this thing.
well, I was
The weekly
looking at
chart on this is
one.
horrible. Horrible weekly chart, horrible daily chart.
I was
I would
gonna
not
say if
touch
I
with a
won the
100
lottery,
stick.
I'd get it for my
These are
mom.
awful, awful, awful charts. Again, I'm not trying to be
I think
you know,
Porsche
all
911
I'm trying to be is
GT.
honest about you in terms of how I see this from a technical perspective. They're in long-term downtrends. Nobody is interested in buying these things. Money is flowing out of this stuff, hand over fist. You could maybe say, oh, but I
Yeah.
want to take the contrarian approach. Well, how long are you going to sit in a contrarian approach, and suffer a 50% drawdown on your money?
I was looking at it. It looks like a
Maybe
fucking
season
sweet
uptick.
car.
I don't know. It's just they're not charts that I could even. They're not charts that even fall into my vocabulary of tradable names. They're just so far away.
Yeah.
So hopefully the honesty is useful, but again, I wouldn't touch any of that stuff.
Yeah.
SLV.
It's a fucking sweet
Let's go over
car.
to silver. Yeah, silver on. I mean, look at silver on the other hand. You look at this chart and you're like, oh,
You're gonna
geez,
find it on
it's a
their
breath of fresh air.
website.
I mean, not that I want to be a brand new long up at the tippity top, but at least it's in play. It's in play. Those other charts.
911.
Silver's kind of interesting because it's sort of, in my view,
These are all
in its recovery
Carreras.
moment after big
Targa.
volume. It's starting to look
GT3.
lighter
Here
again.
it
So
is.
I think silver maybe falls into a consolidation phase, which would be similar to that of gold. If you look at gold, remember it put in its capitulation top.
230.
Really
Yeah.
off for a little while longer. I think that silver could be in a phase similar to this relative to gold there. So I don't know necessarily that silver is a strong buy at the tippity top of the moving
It's a
average.
truck,
SLV,
right?
although Schlumberger is not bad.
Right on.
This is do I want to buy it on a gap up inside this consolidation? The metals tend to be gappy just because of the nature
Yeah,
of the way that they trade
water,
around the clock,
or I
basically.
got a
But
really lucky
it's just not.
gambling.
It's interesting.
I'd buy
It
a
could be a long
911
pullback here
GT3
down to
for
the
my mom.
reversal. That could get interesting. Trying to buy it down here at 67.35s. Travel channels. That could be maybe it. But just buying it up here, I would want to see. I would probably want to see a break. I would probably wait for this. Let it build out the right side of the base a little bit more, and then if it can tighten up here
Right
towards
on.
the all-time highs, and then go, maybe that's interesting, right? So I don't know about a
Right
new
on.
long unless it pulls back to close the gap and can offer tight risk reward here. Let it build out the
Yeah.
right side of this, new handle that it's trying to develop. If it's gonna go.
Yeah,
Right,
I got
that is
myself a
that.
coffee.
I mean, like even an NVO, I wouldn't touch that with a 90-foot pole. I mean, look at this thing.
In my
Why are we talking about Novo Nordisk? Right? I get
Say
it.
what?
Maybe double bottom in here, but look at the 200 SMA. Look at the
Yeah,
50. It's just horrible. This is a horrible
coffee's
chart.
good. Coffee's great.
Like you're I get it. You're trying to get really great risk reward
Right
and
on.
a solid multiple on the upside if it does go. I just don't. This is
I
again
used to
so
a
far
lot
out of my
more.
repertoire to be buying something that looks like this. I'm not
No,
really in the
rarely
business
now.
of picking a bottom like this. I'm more in the business of looking for what's proven strength, rides
Yeah.
out,
Hey,
and then goes.
I got it for
Right.
cheap, but
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean maybe it's interesting just because of the whole GLP-1 story. That's kind of what
I
maybe
could
it
get
has
like,
going on
I
for it.
think,
Um, if that can catch some traction, then maybe. But
not
I
high
mean, look at this.
quality,
This is like
just
the
stuff
GLP-1
or
era of what?
pure
I mean,
stuff
compare it to something like a ZM, uh,
for like,
a Zoom.
I could
The way
get
that
30 grams for like $20.
just like the sickness era, you had the GLP-1 era.
Yeah.
All right, I got to get out of here. It's 9:24, about to be 9:25. We've got to settle into this morning's session for the squawk and whatnot. So have yourself a green and fantastic trading session. Looks like the ES is pushing slightly
Yeah.
higher this morning. Once again, that bull thesis is still primarily the idea. Pulling back and holding support over 69.15 is the name of the game. So with that said, have yourself a green trading session. Keep it green, keep it responsible, keep it under control. It's the first full week of 26, and we'll see you in the next one, as always, right? So 5 minutes to go until the bell. Big shout out to the usual suspects. You guys know who you are. Zoltan, Ant, Siege, M. Kotu, Overthinking Koala, the BMW, just hanging out, one riff, Marview, the whole crew. You guys know who you are. Have yourself a green trading session, and as always, I will see you in the next one.
What's up guys, it's All Day Anthony, and in today's exciting video, we are installing the best sounding exhaust for the Ford 3.5 EcoBoost. Period.
Mr. Bolland, welcome back, man.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Dude,
Who wants me to start ripping some options today? Who wants a humble haunted? A humble haunted day to start the year. Yeah, no, it's on Moomoo. Yeah, that's the broker it's with. It's with Moomoo. That's literally who it's with. Is with Moomoo. I actually like their platform a lot. Maybe I'll start it tomorrow. I don't think I should start it on a Monday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I'm gonna maybe get it started. We'll see. I mean, I already have the account's ready to trade. The account's ready to rock. Just a matter of doing it. Grizzly, you want to move to Puerto Rico with me? Yep. Market's open, guys. Trade smart, trade safe, stay focused, and choose discipline over dopamine today. 2026 trading is here. Focus on becoming better each and every day.
Skyrocketing right now.
Let's go, team. Let's go, team. Let's get it.
Not necessarily skyrocketing, but yeah. Market open is good for it right now.
Yep. Let's see. Let's stay focused and get ourselves a banger today.
So what is it like every 24 hours? So like, say, 24 hours ago and then 24 hours before that?
All it takes is 1 or 2 good trades a day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not every 24 hours, but like,
Next year,
what were the
Monday's gonna be great.
last
No, this year Monday's gonna be great. I'm gonna kill it on
market
Mondays this year.
openings?
Watch me kill it on Mondays this year.
What will the last ones look like?
I'm putting the full wrath of DOD into Mondays.
Yeah, last.
If you guys haven't checked them out yet, you got to check out the Funded Next Bolt accounts. 50K, it's a 50K account with literally 100x potential for ROI.
Yeah, it almost feels
$99,
like it's kind of gonna balance for
which is
today.
crazy. You can add no daily loss limit for $30, no consistency for $20. It's a 1-day pass. You can get payouts in 1 day, which is crazy, guys. You can use code JDUN on Funded Next.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Department of Discipline, baby. Let's get it, everybody. We got we have NFP this week too, huh? Yep. We have NFP this week, and then we have CPI next week. Yo, what's good, TikTok? As a reminder, make sure you guys tap in. Okay, that's not my backup page. There's a fake me in the chat. Nope. As a reminder, make sure you guys tap in, hit that follow button, and I'm live on YouTube as well. I'm live on YouTube as well, so if you want my full screen share and my levels, you can go to YouTube. J Dunn Trades on YouTube. Let's keep growing our community. Non-farm payrolls, our employment report. We got NFP on Friday, and we have CPI next Monday.
So does that mean it's starting to be a good day for them?
Open the door for Gene.
Just that,
Gotta make sure Mr.
like
Gene
it
can
going.
get in when he gets here. Gotta
Yeah.
make sure Mr. Gene can tap in. All right, guys. So nothing yet. Just staying patient, waiting.
Yeah. Seems in the last 5 minutes it's gone just straight up.
Couldn't get a girlfriend in Puerto Rico. Interesting.
Did that for a while.
Yep. Tradeify is
Did that
3-day
last
pass.
week.
Take profit traders like 5-day pass. Fund and Next has 1-day pass and 2-day pass. It just depends on if you are trading props. Just gotta find one that fits your strategy, fits your style. Make this year where you become profitable in prop firms. You become a liability to these firms. $300K pass. Nice job, bro. I was watching for this Tesla to have a break and retest. I'm still open to it. We didn't get the initial push up and push down that I wanted. We just kind of like initially pushed up last few minutes before open, then pushed down into it. We'll see. See what they give us on. I just use volume AVG, volume average. I don't use any special volume indicators. Just basic volume. Thank you, Gene. What's up? How you doing? Good. What? Do you? How about those Broncos taking the first seed in the AFC? I know everyone here is ready for that Super Bowl. Y'all better be. If you're not ready, you're going to get ready. Yeah, I trade from like 9:30 to like typically 10:30 to 11:30. It depends. I got my coffee. Yo, Gene, will you grab my DOD cup? I need the DOD cup. I need the discipline over dopamine cup. I need the DOD cup. Once you have the DOD cup, we're going to be good.
My ankles are still caved.
Your ankles are? From skiing?
I have a feeling it might pop up.
Going.
It's been doing that every time it opens. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Tesla's showing some strength still. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe if we close strong up at this 450, we can watch for a pullback to 450. We hit my price target up in the 450s already from that initial pullback. I mean, I don't just trade the orb strategy. Like I use the 15-minute high and low as reference, but I don't trade. I'm not like only an orb trader. I don't even trade breakouts. I trade retests. Yeah, if you're a Steelers fan, you guys did well too.
Probably go get more coffee and like 3.
All right, got that. We got.
Yeah, I got this. I'll show you.
725 pre-market high, pre-market low.
Just like
Everything's mapped out, ready to rock.
I got the new.
Orb by itself is you can't just trade orb and expect to be profitable long term. I mean, it's a great set of rules. It's a great set of levels that you can base price off
You
of to
stick
get a
with
better
curve
idea of
monitors a
where a
lot?
trend is heading. But you don't strictly
You
want to be
get
trading
curve
open range
monitors a
breakouts.
lot?
And
Right on. Yeah, I
you
like
don't see
curve
anything you like yet?
monitors. They just add a little bit of more
Me neither.
depth to what you're seeing. Like, I feel like I'm more immersed when I have a curve monitor, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna hit your stop loss pretty
Yeah,
soon,
this
it
is my
looks like.
approach. I'm trying to play with view up and the trend, and that's pretty much it.
It is a little choppy. Was with the chat. So sick of this chop silliness for like a month. Be patient. Beginning of the week, beginning of the full trading year. Jack, we got all this Seems like all the data is back on schedule. We got ADP on Wednesday, jobless on Thursday, non-farm on Friday.
Yeah, we got ISM at 9 o'clock today.
We do. Everything seems to
Just
be
a few
back
small
on
bill
schedule.
options. Looks at like
No, that's too
2:40, we
risky
got
for
Trump participating in a policy meeting.
not knowing what's going on
Yeah, he
yet.
should be back on track.
New Fed voters as well.
Yeah.
We got 4 to be specific.
It looks like it's going to do it relatively soon in the next like 2 minutes.
Yeah, Paulson spoke sometime over the weekend, but yeah, new Fed voters. Take a look at Fed funds, or Fed watch, I should say. Still about 80% probability of a pause.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
The next FOMC meeting,
Ooh.
January 28th.
It's my favorite part of the year. We have
What's good, Jeremy? How you been, bro?
500. You ready for them? Here's a few.
Already?
Ooh.
Oh, you got to do it at
Yeah.
the beginning of the year. It's be for 2026. We got
That's true.
Oppenheimer 8100. That's bullish. Deutsche Bank 8000. Morgan Stanley 7800. Goldman Sachs 7600.
I just fired up the PC, so I took a long off that projection.
Bank of America.
Already took my TP just there, so.
Bearish. They're going for 7100. So everyone is giving lukewarm takes.
Yeah.
Have there ever been a projection or call for a price that's lower than where we're at right now?
Yes, there has been. And then JP Morgan got rid of their head of macro. But yeah,
We'll do it.
Idea, because there's a resistance up there.
That again.
Yeah. Maybe your entry was a little early.
I can't remember if my screen's mirrored. It is. So this way would make it go left to right
I think
on your screen.
fine right now.
Everyone's analyst calls were up at the beginning. Then during the tariff things, they went way down. And then
Oh, you're good.
they
I
went
mean,
up again.
if you have the capacity for it, you could do a second entry for the shorts again, just to see what
It's
happens.
just fluffery.
It is. Throwing darts.
DCA.
We'll keep an eye on the
Yeah,
headlines.
it looks like
Pretty
it's
quiet
hit it in
for
the next
right now.
minute or two.
Buyers stepping in on the NASDAQ.
ES also.
Same with
Good highs,
silver.
ES.
Silver right back up. Good. That was good. Man, silver's price action has been clean. A lot of the times we're seeing that volatility, and that wasn't a beautiful pullback here.
Are you trading with props still?
Back down to 75, and now we're getting maybe some continuation back up.
Nice. With which prop firm?
8% on silver. We've been having a lot of 8% days. It's hard to.
Oh shit! Yeah, I just got one of their
It's
accounts
hard to
yesterday.
be a buyer because we're already up 8%, but it's still hard to be a seller going against this momentum. It just takes these quick scalps.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
Chad, trust me.
I got one of their
Evans.
straight to funded. I don't want to do no
We
evals.
got the Dow continue just last. Well, since the New York bell rang, all green bars, new highs, 49,169, about 500 points in the last 16 minutes or so. ES top made new highs over there, 69.47.
Yeah, I think they had a 30% off, so it ended up being just like $500 for 50K. So I'm like, that's a no-brainer.
Still about 50 points for highs in the NQ. We might have an iceberg. We got an iceberg in. 69.45 Hogue when you get when you jump on your
Gotcha.
69.45 ES. See this? If you see anything there, a lot of
Seen a little possible
Yeah.
options resistant at the 6905 level in the SPX, so that's close to here. Maybe 5 points higher.
Joining you with the shorts. I just entered a new short here.
Hanging around
That's right where
25,600.
opt out.
69.41 last trade. ES. You heard me talking to Hogue. You didn't see his face.
Yeah.
Wasn't fair to him. Hogue, come on in. Happy New Year, Hogue. Wow, look at the new layout. Look at that. 3 on this left. 3 on
Yeah,
the right.
that's
Happy New
what
Year, Hogue.
I'm liking too, but we'll see.
Thoughts on the first 18 minutes of this New York session? But really quick, did you see any icebergs on top for 69.45 in the ES? A lot traded on the ask, but we were not able to push through it. So I guess what I'm asking. New high gold.
Yeah.
Here. What's up, Hogue? Happy New Year.
I mean, as long as you have your risk in place, I mean,
Jack, haven't seen you in a while. Happy
Just
Happy
gotta
New
let
Year. Happy New Year,
it play.
Chad. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, there's a little bit of an iceberg there at 69.45.
go.
I see 3,400
I'm scalping right now though, because it's Monday. I don't want to go big, so I'm just
1,500 of them were traded on the offer. So yeah, some pretty decent.
I'm looking to get out at
filling coming in
37.
there at 69.45. As far as the day so far today, we've got the Nasdaq with the opening range at the dead ass high. We've got the S&Ps with the opening range at the dead ass low. S&Ps traded above or are trying to trade above Friday's session high. We'll take a look at that right here. And
All right, that's my fill. I'm out.
Friday's high. We took a look above it. We're holding above that 200 session moving average in the S&Ps. A little bit
No,
of a
I mean
different
you're
story here
still
in the
you're still
NASDAQ.
good. You have
NASDAQ
your trader
struggling
still
around
playing.
that 200 session
Yeah.
simple moving average, and a long way from Friday's high.
You're still in the game,
S&Ps
man.
is presenting as the stronger of the two, but again, when we have opening ranges that are headed different directions,
How's the house
S&Ps
projects and stuff
NASDAQ
going, man?
remains to cross my eyes, and I try and stay very patient. We're trying to see if we can reject value from Friday in the NASDAQ, seeing value high at 25,550. We'll see if we can hold that level.
Very
All right.
nice.
Jack,
Nice.
what's your estimate for the end of the year in the S&Ps?
Well,
Okay, so you got a
let me search
turnkey.
for it real quick, because I have a system. Tom Lee.
You just got to have a system.
P5.
Oh, that's perfect, man. What lease are you doing? Short term or looking for like a long term lease?
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
So
okay.
Tom Lee is looking.
Yeah, that's a good idea, man. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. There it goes. Just gotta let it go. Yeah. Yeah. We could have said, oh, I exited too early, but man, it is what it is. Yeah. Just wanted to give you a little morning stress, from earlier. Oh, how rude of me. Hey, what's up? Is that Rodney?
Yeah.
How you doing, sir? I'm Kessie.
Good. How are you, Kesley?
Doing good, doing good. Are you trading as well? Or are you just watching?
Just watching.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay. Still in the game, baby.
I mean, get some big buyers on there, like you said, with the 9. So let's see. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's some strong buys. I might go back down there again. To the 34s, 35s. There's buyers down there too. I'm looking at the tick chart, so just a heads up at the 34.50.
So what is that? Yeah.
The 34, 34, 25, 34.50 area. If you pull up the tick chart, it's clear on the 500 tick chart. Mm. Yeah. On the tick chart, you see there's 3 bottoms there. Yes, sir. 3. So if we touch it again this time, this would be number 4, testing that area. You still do options, or is it just been futures for the most part? Okay. Dude, I know exactly what you mean, man. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. You don't have to worry about data decay and all that crap. Okay, so now 940 is looking like at some resistance there too, like a very small area. Are you still using the same trading system? EMAs? Yeah. Coming back to that 34 again. Oh, immediate buyers. And if you got the patience to just wait and see how it plays out, that's. Unless you got to go do something, you're trying to get out quicker. Ah, got it. Yeah. So we still got buyers right there. I think they've moved it up to 35. Once you clear 35, we might see a little like push down, take some stop losses out on the bottom side. But right now there's buyers there, 35s. Yep, stepped in again. Still ain't over, man. Yeah. That was a good push from the 35. So right, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So if it gets back there again, but oh shit.
Ooh, ooh.
Okay, was that to grab the stops on the opposite end? Let's. Is there news? There's a lot of volume coming in right now.
Because it just turned 8 o'clock.
An hour. Okay, so that's the end of the hour. Today is the 5th. Then we have PMI manufacturing coming up. Yeah, there's nothing big.
I kind of expected that to happen at 8 with the volume.
Oh, well, maybe then we've got the sellers now. Let's see, 34 and 35. All right.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit, but with the volume increasing, we might just see which way it goes. But that was another 35 touch right there. Yeah. That'll be a nice chunk of change for your trade there. Yeah. Still got the buyers there. Go. Yeah, it's just kind of dancing between that 35 and 45 now for a little bit.
Testing. Hello? Hello? Testing.
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
Testing.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you if you can hear us.
My phone died.
Ah.
So what happened? Did I go down? Oh, good, good.
Yeah, it went right back to that 35 again, and then bounced up.
So what do you think? Call it a day for that? Oh, okay. Yeah. Which having that new fluctuation of buyers really helps. So those are the big ones, Apple and Google. If they're going bullish, I think you should take their face, you know, as a company, not as you. But they are the big dogs. Got more coffee going. I'm in my camper. Turn on my camera. Let's see. Turn on camera. What up? Oh, no, I'm just waiting for my coffee.
No, nothing big.
Hey, puppy.
Seemed to play out a little bit there. Well, you give you one opportunity or so, two opportunities, yeah. But that was not your trade, so I mean. Mm-hmm.
This time it looks pretty promising. So
Well, on the ES, we're still dancing 45. Mm. Yeah, we just got a bunch of sellers coming on that last print, so let's see. And now 40's got buyers there too, just a heads up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who knows? If we only had a looking glass, huh?
Look here, but this was a little bit of a retail. If it trades too obvious, don't jump into it right away. Because it did open around 170. It's now retreated $10 to 160 right now, but still a nice payday for these very prescient investors who on Friday were just buying every dip in Chevron for some reason.
Savvy
investors.
Is savvy investors.
It's going to give you some confidence boost, but on the 5 minutes on the ES, if you look at it, I remember it was a Demas trade style that he liked. It's looking like a shooting star to the south side.
You know, hit that beautiful trend line. I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, the wick, yeah.
All right, so 18 minutes till the
Mhm.
bottom of the hour.
So
I thought Nancy Pelosi retired.
yeah.
Never. There's always another one to pop up. Oh, all right. Let's take a look at some of our live leaderboard. Let's take a look at the leaderboard for some of our live funded traders here on top. So have some familiar names. Oh, I'm going to see Abin up 22,000. Well done. Sydney up 17, almost 18,000. Connor, seen that name. Samuel, Shang, all well above 13,000 bucks. Job well done. Make sure you hang on to those profits, lock them in. We'll check back in with these names leaderboard throughout the day and see if we've seen some movement, any new names popping in as the trading day goes on. But job well done. Hang on to it though. Most important thing, lock in those profits. Yeah, one day. 50-50 tilt. Crew trading $57.61. Look at the volatility. Obviously, since the reopen yesterday, crude up pretty good, up about $2. Open right around $56.50.
There it goes.
Up
All
to
right.
58.20.
This is a tough trade this morning.
When's the rally coming?
Which market?
Okay.
Yes.
Equities.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
Oh,
Nasdaq's up 1%, Hogue. So it's slow.
Okay,
Jacob, I feel Jacob, you're approaching.
One last thing I'll show.
Go ahead, Jack. I want to see Jacob's thoughts on this his new approach. Go ahead, Jack.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, the Friday move up in Chevron.
And I'm hoping that, you know,
measured it here.
fucking shoots down. I'm not in any position, so I just want you to win.
Green day.
Oh, come on.
No, man, I wanted to take a piss and hit your TP.
Well, I'd have to go back further. Here we go. Okay, it's the biggest green day since July.
Oh, shoot, 9:15. All right.
Incredible.
Might take off here in the next 5 minutes or so.
They were doing it. So there should have been no leaks.
I'm pretty sure Chevron knew that they were going to be going in there. I'm sure they had to give the heads up to the company.
The thing is, we know, like, without blaming anyone, we know that people knew about it because both, I forget which, if it was the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, like at least two of them said that they knew about it but didn't report on it because of like safety concerns. So this was out there to I don't know how many people, but it was kind of known.
And the pizza index picked it up too.
Yes, they did.
Mhm.
What
is
1
that? For those
a.m.
that are like, what do you guys? For those that are saying, what are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about? What?
Yeah, it can be. Not terrible, no. Not high enough. Yeah, they put they make posts for them. So they could either do like a, you know how they do fence posting? So they'll probably go into the ground 2 feet or something, or they could bolt it to the cement, depending on how big you want it to be, dimensions wise, you know. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Once you start messing with suspension and stuff, like my truck, same thing. It cannot fit in the garage. I have to deflate all the tires in order for it get it to like barely get in there. Yeah. All right. Will your HOA allow it? Mm, yeah. Yeah. That's the thing is the carport. I know some places they might be a little iffy about it. So just check and see if they'll allow it. Yeah, it just sits outside, man. I put a rhino liner on it, so it's yeah, the whole thing, man. So it's like you can't do shit to it. Yeah, and it's an old truck. It's an '04. I use it for like off-road hunting, that kind of stuff. So it's not like my baby. You know what I mean? It's like a work truck. Crazy, man. Yeah. Yeah. You can also, I mean, if the HOA doesn't approve it, they sell these blankets. It's like a hail cover. Yeah, you just put it on it if you know hail is coming. Yeah, they work. It's like a very thick comforter, so it absorbs the impact, so you don't, you know. I would do the whole thing, man. Because if it's coming at an angle as well, like if it's strong wind, it could hit the sides too. So just get one that covers the whole thing. If you go that direction. Yeah. Man, I don't want no hail. I think it's usually in the springtime. I think spring into the summertime. Mm, coming back to that high again. Yeah. And I want. Here's what I'm hoping for: that they set up like a bull trap. I can sell and leave all the leave them stuck up there. I'll take L, bro. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. Wait. So what happened to all the guys? I feel like this is like my first time chatting with you on voice. Sunil and all the others. Like I came back. This was like a year ago, and then I was like, "Dust, everybody gone." Gotcha. Yeah. 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 No, I was just wondering, like, because you would have like 20, 30 people, right? Like a lot of folks. So I was wondering, like, what all that, like, how that just like dissipated. Uh, okay. Got it. Okay. Wouldn't that be nice? Mm. All right, man. GG's.